Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session on live collaboration for design and manufacturing. And this is a follow-up session from last week where my colleague presented some of the aspects of how you can collaborate on design and manufacturing. So I'm going to take it ahead, and today we are going to have some fun. We are going to have some interactive session, and in the chat window, you would have received a message from me where I have requested volunteers for today's session who want to experience live interaction. Please share your email IDs with me. Please send it in the chat window. So I see only 3 participants till now. I request if you want to really take something out of this session, please do share your email IDs. Thank you. The email IDs will be used for a live interactive collaboration on mechanical design. So that is the purpose of requesting you to share this. So let's get started. Great, I'm seeing a lot of people sharing their email IDs. And before I proceed, just want you to take a snapshot of all the webinars that are happening. Me and some of my other colleagues in different domains are hosting a series of webinars. The first one happened earlier last week, was done by my colleague Kirti Malavuru, Streamlining Collaboration for Design and Manufacturing. Today, it's a follow-through session for the same topic, but with a little more live interaction. Hence, your email IDs are being requested. Thank you so much. I request you to take a snap of this. In case you have not registered for the webinars, you will see that there's a link on top where you can find the link to all the webinars that are happening, and you can go there and register yourself. So as we begin, I would run a few questions for you, so that I really understand who is participating today, what is your profile essentially, and for that I'm going to run a set of quick questions. The first one coming up now. So request you to respond here so that I know what is your background, and that will help me steer the conversation accordingly. Great. I'm going to quickly go to the next question. So we have closed the first one, and yes, we are on the second one now. So are you aware of something called as the Extended Access Program? And have you tried it? Have you utilized it? This is something that we have been running for quite some time, so that people in the field of design and manufacturing, or even in the field of architectural engineering and construction, who are stuck at home and need to access data, need to collaborate and share information with their colleagues, their other stakeholders, other people who are part of the work that they do. there are certain tools that we have. Of course, one of the tools we are going to see today, but there are other tools as well. And what we had done was to make life easy for our customers. We had given access to some of these tools for an extended period. So request you to respond. Some of the people are aware of the program, it seems, but I believe most of you are not aware. So we'll talk about that later going ahead. And here is the next question. How do you share design data to team members? Currently, how do you do it? Of course, I'm sure you might be using one of these ways, or there might be something else as well. So uh, uh, so I see the responses, and I can tell you that email is on the top of everything. And yes, there are people who do use means like the server and FTP as well, but it is mostly email is the winner. So I think that was expected. Most of us know, in the absence of dedicated collaboration tools, email is the best way to perhaps share information. And I think most of you have responded now. And let's get started with today's session. So I see a lot of email IDs already being shared. So we will see in a while where I'm going to leverage them in the collaboration process. But before that, let us look at the things that we are planning for today. So the name of today's session is Streamlining Collaboration for Design and Manufacturing, and it's a live session. Of course, it will be followed. It will be there will be a small presentation that I will make so that the context is established, and then I will take you live, and we will be participating in some interactive workflows. So with that, let's look at what you saw last week. If you have not attended last week's sessions, this is a subset of what you saw, and I'm going to totally focus on the elements that are on screen today, starting with something known as Fusion Team, and also an element known as the desktop connector. There are other boxes that you see in this presentation, and those are also other ways of collaboration. Today I'm not going to cover everything, because today I wanted to specifically cover these two, and these two as well, not in the form of a presentation alone, but in the form of a live session. So let's get started with what is Fusion Team. So Fusion Team is a centralized cloud-based workspace for your projects. And what it helps you do is it helps you find, it helps you view, and it also helps you share with other stakeholders in a limited way. And it also helps you enter a discussion about your project. So it's a means for collaboration. Everything that you today do over mails, by sharing data in the form of screenshots or Word, PDF documents where you capture notes or you exchange email information, everything can be done in the form of a single environment where all the stakeholders are participating. And this platform of Fusion Team is accessible across all types of devices having internet. So it can be accessible on your office workstation. It can be accessible on your home laptop. It can also be accessed from a tab or a mobile device. So irrespective of whether you are in office, whether you are present, or whether you have access to your office device on which you work regularly, you still can participate collaboratively in some of the workflows, contribute to the progress of your design and documentation, and let the work continue in spite of challenges in terms of having access to the right infrastructure. So that is what this is all about. So some terms that I will be using today, things such as the hub. This hub essentially is your organization's central workspace. So a hub is typically managed by one administrator, and everyone in your organization can be a member of the hub. So a hub is where everyone from the organization see projects, and projects can again have a second level of control, access control, meaning that in spite of being part of a hub, not everyone in the organization who is part of the hub, organization hub, will have access to all the projects. So there are various ways in which we can build levels of control. So working areas within the hub, there are three types of permissions that we can have per project. Now, what are the platforms we support? Of course, so as I said, the hub is accessible through Windows. You can access the hub using a connected drive known as Fusion 360. That is what is seen on the screen on right hand side. The image that shows Windows Explorer, and you see a Fusion 360 under devices and drives. That is the desktop connector that you see, and that is where you can access your hub on your desktop. In case you are not in close proximity of your regular workstation or laptop or work device, you can access it from any other device which has an internet connection, and which has some of these Internet Explorer explorers or browsers installed. It could be Chrome, Firefox, it could be Safari for an Apple device, or Internet Explorer and above, and Microsoft Edge. So all these platforms are good for you to participate using Fusion Team. And of course, for a mobile device, we have the Fusion 360 app. So if you have not already downloaded or had a look at the Fusion 360 app, I'm sure most of us here are now having smartphone, smart devices, either tabs or even mobile phones, either Android or iOS, doesn't matter. So you can please go ahead and download the Fusion 360 app, and using the email ID that you just shared with me, request you to register yourself there. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just like creating an account on Facebook or Google. What you will be essentially doing is creating an Autodesk account and getting access to a host of free services, exactly the way you get access to a lot of services when you connect to Facebook, Gmail, or other cloud connected services. It's just that. So log in to your app, use your email ID to create an account and log into that app. Also, if you have Windows, the Windows 7, 8, and 10 versions are supported. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make you all a part of the project. I'm not going to essentially make you part of the hub. If you see here at the level of the hub, there is the hub owner. This is essentially someone in your organization or the team that you're working with who will control who gets to become a part of that hub, because we are talking of confidential information here, the company IP. We don't want anyone and everyone to be a part of the hub, and the hub owner essentially can moderate and ensure that only the right people are getting access or are becoming a part of the hub. He's the one who can allow or disallow people from being a part of the hub. And these are the three levels at the level of the hub. It could be a team administrator, It could be a team member. So apart from the hub owner, there can be other people who can be administrators as well. And then there are team members and project contributors. Project contributors can be the people who are not going to work on the data, but are only going to contribute by way of commenting, adding value by their valuable advices on the progress of the design. So team members, of course, can do most of the things, and the team administrators, over and above everyone, can assign rights to hub level roles to users. So they can decide who gets to become a team administrator further, or a team member, or a project contributor. At the project level, there are additional controls that can be built apart from what is there at the hub level. So in spite of being a part of the hub, it doesn't mean that you get to access all the projects. Again, at the project level, there can be a person who is only a viewer. There can be an editor who can edit and download. So viewer essentially has no download right. So we don't want to make, so essentially at the project level, we can make people who are not part of our organization also members and make them a viewer, because we want their feedback. Sometimes we are doing projects for customers who need regular progress of who need to understand the progress of the work that we are doing, and we want them to continuously give us feedback on things that matter to them, and so that we can take course correction as the progress moves on, not at the end when everything is done and then finally we get to know that there are a lot of changes that need to be done. So this can be a live collaboration between the creators and the people who matter, including the customers. So as we go ahead, a very quick video on how this works, the Fusion team, the Fusion project. And let us look at a small project here. Okay, this is a project out here that has been shared. Currently, it is being viewed in the browser of a device. It could be any device. It could be a tab. It could be a laptop. But it's a browser-based thing. I can isolate components exactly the way I do in my design software. And this without the need for installing any particular application on my system. I can also see the properties of the components I'm looking at. I can look at the hierarchy and the structure of my assembly. I can see all the associated information. In this case, we are looking at drawings that are for this same assembly. And then finally, we can also share information with our colleagues and other stakeholders. So like here, I am just sharing, giving a limited access. I'm not making this particular step is not making someone a part of my project, but giving a limited access to the design. I can also do a live review where I can have a live session of interaction. So we are going to do some of these things as we progress in our session today. So if you have already heard of something known as Autodesk Drive, and if you are already Autodesk customers using AutoCAD or any other product, you might have been exposed to something known as the Autodesk Drive, where the storage capacity is 25 GB. It's an entry-level solution that allows you to quickly share information. But with Fusion Team, we are doing much more. We have as much as 500 GB worth data per subscription user. The user administration and project permissions can be explicitly controlled through Fusion Team. There is also a possibility of controlling the version of the design, doing markups and commenting and doing a live review. And this Fusion Team enables collaboration between Fusion 360 and Inventor AnyCAD, which means that even if you have any other tool out there, the Fusion Team allows you to manage data from that software with the capability of AnyCAD, which means it could be other tools like SolidWorks or Solid Edge or any other 3D mechanical CAD tool. You continue to use that, but for collaboration, you are free to use Fusion Team. So everyone will get a chance to ask questions towards the end. So if anyone has raised their hands, I'm not perhaps going to look at it right now. If you would excuse me, and we would try to answer your questions towards the end by helping you to allow you to essentially ask questions in the question and answer panel. Right, so let's move on. And at this stage, I'm essentially not going to take these slides, but we are going to quickly move on to the next part, which is the live session, and that is where we are going to spend a lot of time. And to take you through the live session, I'm going to open my session on Fusion 360. But actually, I'm going to take you to my web interface. So what I'm going to do primarily is I'm going to start a new project today, and we are going to start this project in a web browser. So you will essentially, perhaps if you're interested, you will follow through the workflow. I'm going to use your email IDs now here in this session, and this is where we are going to collaborate on live design. So I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to give this icon the project, and I'm going to use today's date, which is 10/06/2020, and this is the project I'm creating. So we want to see everything at the project level, and that is what I intend to do. I'm going to do everything at the project level, and currently if you see, I can see some of the project details out here, and I can see the activity, and currently there is nothing out here. There are no details, there is no activity, there is no content. So we're going to quickly populate this slowly, but before that I'm going to add members, and to add members I'm going to invite a lot of you here, and if you can see my screen, I'm going to take your email IDs from the chat panel, and I'm going to send you an invite. So that is what we are going to do, and let's see how many of them I can take really. Of course, I don't have a limitation, but the limitation can only be time. So I'm going to select uh, participants one by one, and I'm going to copy them out here. So I see a couple of folks whom I already know. They're from our partner ecosystem, and some of the email IDs are already there on screen. But nevertheless, I have people who are customers, and most of you are our customers either using AutoCAD or even if not AutoCAD, some competitive solution for 3D modeling or even an Autodesk solution. So in any case, even if you're using just AutoCAD, this will still be useful to you. So I go on to, yeah, so there. Sorry for that. I'm just switching. There we are. Okay. So this will take a little while. Excuse me for this, and I am just trying to get the questions. So I've sent my first set of invite. I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to invite more people now. I would request my colleague Avinash. Avinash, if you are there, I seem to have lost the question panel, and I'm trying to figure out where I can get it back so that I can look at all the email IDs.
It's right below poll.
Yeah,
you must have opened a different tab.
I can see that, and I'm going to pull it out. Yeah. So there it is, and thank you for that, Avinash. Yeah. So yes, I have it here, and it's very dynamic. It gets connected to all the places. So yes, I'm adding you all. Don't worry, I will not leave anyone who has sent me the email ID. Definitely not. So there we are. More getting added. In fact, if I had a way to just copy all and add it, that would have been the ideal thing. But I think GoToMeeting as a platform doesn't allow me to copy everything. So fantastic. I see my colleagues as well. Nice. Requesting everyone else to participate as well. So please don't be shy. There's nothing that we want to send you after this. It's just that we want you to experience this live and see the value of it. Hence the request for sharing your email ID. I am getting some, yes. So there goes the second set of invitation. There goes the invitations. We have, I believe, 17 members. So if you can now see the screen, you could see the list of people who have given their email IDs. Absolutely fine with this. Requesting more people to add. And yes, I have. Okay, I think there's a spelling mistake out there. So let me correct that. Someone has corrected me. So yes, I see a lot of people showing interest now. So I'm not going to leave anyone out there. So if you have shared your email ID, you will be added to this. So everyone has been added with the role of the editor, as you could see. And there we have people really getting interested and sharing their email IDs. So I'm doing as I am getting it. So great. I think we have a good number, and we have almost 22 people of the perhaps I will not tell the number of people who have joined, but it's a quite a huge number, and 22 is a very small part of that. So thanks to everyone who showed the courage of sharing your email IDs. Now, in fact, what I'm going to do now is also so that you see what I'm expecting out of you. I'm going to share something to myself on my Gmail ID. So that's my Gmail ID in case you did not know. I don't want mails on this, but anyways, I'm going to send the invitation, and I'll show you the kind of mail you would receive on your email. So that's what is my plan, and so we'll get started from there. We'll see what communication would have reached you, and so I'm opening my Gmail in another window. I have kept my screen paused for the moment, so please excuse me. The moment I log in, I will share the email that I am expecting to be there in my mail ID. So there you go. This is the mail I received from myself, and if you have not received it yet, you would receive it in a moment because the invitations have all gone, and you would see the name of the project here, which is 1006, which is today's date, 2020. So this is the name of the project that we had given, if you remember, and this is what you would have received as an email. So anyone who has not received and has had shared my email ID can let me know on the chat in case you have not received. I will push the email again, invite again, if you know it is waiting for some firewall issue or anything that also you might want to check your spam in that in sometimes the email might not be recognized from an authorized sender, and you may in fact that the mail, this invitation would end up in spam. So what we would want us to do is click on this link, the project below. or if you would like to activate your Fusion team, you should go here. But I'm going to, since I have already activated it with my Gmail, I'm going to click on the name of the project, and it is going to open a new window. And interestingly, I don't seem to remember my password, so that doesn't matter. I am going to, perhaps I have saved my password somewhere. Let's see if this is the correct one. I don't think so. So I'm going to click on forgot, and I believe this is something that you might want to do. And I would have received a mail again from my from Autodesk saying that this is the password reset link. So I'm going to show you that as well. So this is the mail I just received, and I'm going to reset my password. So I believe you are looking at my screen, and I'm going to reset my password, and I am going to pause my screen so that you don't know what password I'm going to enter, but that's okay. And yeah, but I can actually show you. I'm using LastPass as my password repository, so I'm going to create a very strong password and fill it out. And I'm going to say update my login out here. Fine, so that I don't have to remember. I'm going to say reset password, and I go on to continue to login. So I go back to sign in now. I see that I believe there is a password out there, and yes, I am able to sign in. And it says I can set up an extra layer of protection with two-step verification. So interestingly, like many other cloud platforms who don't just leave it up to your password, you can set up a two-step authentication. You can connect it to your mobile device. You can receive a SMS to validate. There are many ways in which we can do that, and it's good to do that, so that in case you have logged in into your account on someone else's system, because you were at some other workstation or someone else's computer, and you forgot to remove the information, you can always be ensured that if you have set up two-step authentication, you can uh, uh, ensure that your password is well protected. So I'm going to use this, and I am using an app known as Duo Mobile, which is an authentication app, and we in fact use it for our corporate login as well. So, but you can also use it and you can add an account. So I'm going to add this barcode uh, in my account. So yeah, so it says third party, and absolutely fine. I'm going to enter the 6-digit code that is flashing on my mobile. So this is a dynamic code. Even if you copy it, doesn't matter. And there you go. My access has been verified. So very interesting. I can set up two-step authentication and ensure that even if I have shared my password with someone, it's not that everyone would be able to log in without this. And what I see now is the project that was shared with me, which is the name of the project that was created by myself using my company credentials. So I can see that as a project member, there are others, and and I can't do much. I am not an editor, so I don't see the option to invite, not available with basic access. So I can't do anything. I can't do much. If I were to just look out for myself here, the other me, the Gmail me, I will find myself here, and there it is, and it says I'm an editor. Okay, I've not entered my company, but I see others have entered their company as well. So this is the start. This is the first thing that we may want to do, and I'm now going to look at the question panel in case people have responded. Yes, some of you have received it a little late, and I'm going to add a few more people here. So some people have responded, and I'm going to go back to my others window, which is the window that is the Autodesk Sanjeev Ghosh, and I'm going to add a few more people out there, the ones who have uh, shared. Okay, fantastic. And I see that some people have initially not received, but yeah, have later received. Anyone else who has left, and if you're following through, can you please kindly give a confirmation that you have done and followed through the steps? Just would wait for a minute or so. If you can just say yes on the question and answers panel, that will be really helpful, so that I know that everyone is attentive and really is following through. Yes, I believe people are doing it. Thank you for that. And yes, people are able to log in as well. People are responding. Really, really appreciate this, because we are doing this interactively. Hence, I really don't know what is happening at your end. So your confirmation will really help me. And also, if anywhere you think you're stuck, you might want to pose a question so that I can just perhaps if there's a challenge, I may try to help you as well. So now I have two logins, one as uh, my Sanjeev Ghosh Gmail ID, and one as my Sanjeev Ghosh Autodesk ID. So Autodesk ID is the one where I created my project. I am the owner of this project. None of you are members of the hub that I have created. You are all members of the project. So that is what I have done. And at any moment in time, I can make you just a viewer. So I'm going to make the other myself, which is the Gmail myself, a viewer only. And at any point in time, if I choose, I can always remove someone from the project, so they no longer have access to the project. So now most of you are editors, so which means that whatever we are going to do now henceforth is something that you will be able to access. Now, having done this, having set up this live session with a lot of people being a part of it, let's add information, let's add data to this, and let's see what we can do with that data. So I'm going to go back to my Fusion 360 window. Now, Fusion 360 is something that needs to be installed, and I'm actually trying to figure out where is my newly created project out here. So I believe it has gone to the end, or let's do a quick refresh to see if there it is. I was missing this guy. This is the project. And if I double click here, this part is known as my data panel. And unlike most Windows-based software, the things that we do in Fusion 360, the files that we create, you cannot just go to your Windows Explorer and search for it using the conventional Windows search method. It is searchable only in two places. One is in this data panel, and the second is if I go to Windows Explorer, and if I have installed my Fusion 360 connected drive, this is where I'm going to see all the information. And currently, these are all the hubs I'm a part of. Fusion India is the hub I have created. The rest are someone else's hub, and I'm only a part of those hubs. So I'm going to click on Fusion India, and I am going to see what's inside it. So I see everything. I see that this is the project. It looks exactly like a folder, but this is really a project. And if I go inside it, currently there is absolutely no data. Now, how do I get this activated? Let me quickly go back to the to the browser, to Chrome, where most of you would have access. And if you have been able to log in, let me log into my other account. If you have logged in as yourself, this is something that you would be seeing. There is no other project, there is no content. You would be seeing 23 members and nothing else, absolutely nothing else. So if you click on your name in the top right corner, or the icon with your initials, you will see that there is a section to install the desktop connector for Fusion here. If you click on this, there will be a small download. It's an exe file. It's a very small in size, and that is what helps you install your Fusion 360 drive. And once you have done that, you will get an icon for your Fusion 360 in your Windows Explorer. And also you will see this symbol out here in the taskbar that allows you to sign in as yourself to your Fusion 360 drive. So unless you have signed in here, you will not see anything in your Fusion 360 drive. So this is maybe an extension or something similar that you already experienced when you use things like Google Drive or OneDrive or any other cloud connected platform. So this has some additional features that we want to talk about, which are which enable collaboration for design documents, and specifically mechanical CAD documents is what we are talking about. Let me pause for a moment and let me quickly locate the design that I really want to work with. So I'm just trying to get hold of some data out here. So give me a moment and I will be on my way back. So yes, so I believe you are now able to see my screen. I'm sorry, there was a challenge with my internet and I was I was muted for a brief moment, but I believe there we are. So yeah, I believe you can see my screen now. Yes, and this is my Windows Explorer. So I'm looking at a set of files which I downloaded from a public website, which is GrabCAD, and it is perhaps a representative model of a forklift from Caterpillar. That is what I understand, and it has been done in SolidWorks. So we are going to use this file for our collaboration. And I go back to Fusion, and if you look at my Fusion screen, you would see there are two sections in my data panel. This data panel can be minimized so that I get maximum area for working. But at this moment, I'm going to use this to add some data by using the option upload. And I'm going to select my files from the location that I just showed you a while ago. And I'm going to select all those files that matter, and it's all the set of SolidWorks files. Now I select this, I say open, and I come to a window which tells me, yes, this is the set of file, and the system can really find a couple of assembly files. There are a lot of part files, and there are a couple of assembly files. So which is the one that is the top level, which is the master or the parent assembly file, is what I need to point out. Rest the software will automatically take care of. So I'm going to select the one that I know is the top level assembly, and I'm going to mark it as the parent assembly, and I'm going to upload it to this location. So we are doing this real time. It's a lot of data. It will take a minute or so to complete the upload, and you will exactly see what's available. And I will show you how you are going to look at it and what are the things that some of you will be expected to do. So I believe most of you who had shared your email ID would have received the mail. They would have logged in either to your mobile device in an app or in a web browser. So it's complete, and I am just going to close this, and great. So there's something that appears here. I just see the main file. I don't see anything else. Let's at this moment move back to our Chrome window. So let's see what we are looking at inside Chrome, and I'm going to do a refresh. So the moment I do a refresh, and I would request you all to do the same. You are going to look at this window. So this is what I see out here as Sanjeev Ghosh from Autodesk, and this is what I see here as Sanjeev Ghosh with the Gmail ID. Oh, fantastic. So someone has already opened it, and that I see is Abhilash P has already started working on my design, and that is the information I am given. So as you see here, one of you has already taken access of the design and has started some work on it. I'm not sure what that work is, but here is what we are going to do next. Here we are going to essentially go to click on the overview. And we are going to click on view. I'm going to do the same in my Gmail account window as well. So I have two windows open, one as myself with my Autodesk ID and one as myself as the with my Gmail ID, but the way you would be seeing as participants. So you will get a lot of tooltips telling you how you are going to work on this now. So your commenting tools are here is what I see in my Gmail login. It will pop up a lot of tooltips, and yes, I have an email and I can now pan and zoom. Perhaps the orientation of this design is not really correct. So I quickly want to correct that. And for that, I will have to go back to my Fusion window. I'm quickly opening the design and I'm going to set the top as the top. So currently it oriented itself as the way it was created in its parent software. So perhaps I want to change that so that the views are correctly named. And I'm opening that. It's open now, and you see the assembly tree out here. And great. So I want this view here, or rather I would say this view out here, which is currently the back view, set as my top view. Fine. And I'm going to set this view out here. Not exactly in particular, but this view as my, and I see already people having commented. Fantastic. You can continue to do that, but as I do it, let me change this current view and set it as my home, and let me save it. As I do this, I'm going to perhaps save it, and I'm going to write a description as orientation changed. So the point being that you can mark and add comment to the changes that you are doing as the design progresses. And this new design is marked as version 2, will be marked as version 2. The current original one here was version 1. Let me go back to my Windows Explorer and let me go to the Fusion 360 drive. There it is. And let me see what I see in the I see that there is a data there whom it was created by, and I'm going to add additional things like the version. So I also see that there is a version out there, and I go back to this window, I do a refresh, and now I'll see that there's a version 2 out there instead of a version 1, which is correctly oriented. But before that, I'm going to perhaps look at some of the comments that were sent to me. I already saw some of you adding a comment to the version 1 perhaps. So let me go back to version 1, and let me look at some of the comments that were added. So I see a comment there by the Mark 1, and let me see who created it, and it was created by Tahir. Wow, you have already changed the color, it seems. Okay, or it's just a selection that you have done. So Tahir has really told me that the color needs to be changed, and you want me to change the color to what? If you can reply back, I'm going to reply to Tahir here. What color? And I'm going to post, and this is going to be visible to everyone out there. So I'm going to assume a color if I don't get a reply in a second. Okay, so Tahir has not replied back to me. I would encourage everyone to try commenting on either of the versions. It doesn't matter. Now, interestingly, I can see both the versions and I can even compare the versions. Right now, nothing has changed as far as geometry is concerned. It's just the orientation. Wow, Manikandeshwar has added another comment. Let me go to that comment, and that comment has a markup that tells me or gives me specific information. And even Manikandeshwar has, oh, okay, can we change it to 3 inches? Okay, I'll try to do that. But right now I'm going to first address Tahir's query, which is red. Fantastic. So I'm going to go back here, and as I do this, I can also see the comments window out here, but right now I'm going to leave it at it. I'm going to quickly go to the area which says render, and we are going to do some interesting stuff out here. And I'm going to quickly change the appearance by dragging and dropping a red material. So as of now, we are just having some fun. We are not doing some detailed engineering out here, but I'm going to select red color, which is aluminum anodized, and I'm going to apply it to this guy, which Tahir told me. So I'm going to remove whatever was there, and great, we have it applied. I'm going to make the wheels black, and when I do, sorry, it went back. Let me get it back again, and let me look at black. So the black is I'm going to take as powder coated, doesn't matter. I'm going to take this powder coated out here and apply it to my, okay. So interestingly, not all the material is on my machine. I am going to take the one that is already there and apply it out here. And it is applied to all the wheels because all the wheels are instances. And fine, I'm going to apply some black paint out here to some of these elements, and doesn't matter. Let's look at how it looks physically. And I'm going to also do some stuff out here. We are going to add an environment from the library, which is that of a field. So we are going to look at it the way it is going to look at in a certain environment. So I don't want to see this solid color, but I want to look at this environment. And I can also, in fact, automatically reset and can rotate the environment. I'm also going to rotate this guy, doesn't matter. And I'm going to pull him back. There it is, doesn't matter. I'm going to keep it there. There's a way which I can do that very clearly, but what essentially we have done is created this, and this is just the way it is going to look like as of now. But I'm going to do the rendering in a much more advanced environment, and I don't want to really uh, use my computer resources, because I know that when I do rendering, my CPU is literally blocked. So I'm not going to do local rendering, and I'm going to do this rendering in the cloud. And I'm going to select a size which is, let's say, slightly high. I'm going to zoom in this guy before I do that, so that we get a nice view. Yeah, and let's go back to render, and let's see how much time it takes. And I'm going to select a size which is high. Oh, I see another comment. I let this render happen, and let me see what is going on in the background with my. Okay, so I see comments coming in on version 2 now. Okay, so I'm already on version 3, but let's see what comments we have. So we have a comment from Ashwani, and okay, there is, let's change the color to black. Fantastic. And there are lots of them out there. I see everyone, a couple of you commenting out there, so that's really nice. And I see these colors, and I see these markups out here. So everyone is commenting, everyone is participating. That's so nice. And as that happens, I'm going to sort of also do something about in the engineering part of it. So let's go back to design, and let's quickly create a drawing from this design, and let's see how you look at it. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to use the size of A, and I am going to select ISO standard and units and I say A4 is what I want to do. So great. So there you go. My drawing is getting ready. So yes, I place a couple of views. I really don't bother as to the details of it as of now. And currently we are just placing orthographic views. We can do absolutely everything in terms of sectioning, detailing, and even specific parts if you want to see or not see in this particular view. So as this happens, I'm just going to save this for the sake of the time that we have, and we have also already perhaps gone a little beyond, but I believe you guys are all interested, and there are a lot of people still in the session. And for their benefit, I'm going to save this and see what we get here. So let me refresh this. So I can see all the comments out here in my comment section in my browser as well. If I go to the uh, okay, there it is. I go to save. I save this drawing. So the drawing is getting saved definitely. And I go back to my design. So, and there I go back to my rendering out there to look at what we really got here. So initial render, that's fine. It's coming on the screen now, and I can do all sorts of things. I can create motion-based animations. I can create everything. So a very quick one, and I did not absolutely use any of my resources out there from. Questions. Now let's quickly take the questions, and I'm going to take the first one. So I request you to now switch on to the Q&A mode, and I'm going to try to answer as many questions as possible, because with the limited time that we had, we wanted to make this interactive, and a lot of you did participate, and thanks to everyone who did. And now I'm going to start taking questions, and the first question that I'm going to answer is, can 2 or more people make changes on a project at the same time? Yes, it is possible. Definitely, different parts of the design can be worked upon at the same time. And since this software is very personalized, as in people are going to log in with their user credentials, your change is going to be tracked by your username and ID. For example, if I just go to this window out here and tell you, it clearly states which version was created and changed by whom. Let's say if one of you out there opens this and does a modification, that will not be in version 3. It will automatically become version 4, and which I can track by who has done it. So at any moment in time, I feel that the change that was done by someone else is out of turn and is incorrect, I can promote a previous version back to the latest version, and we can also do a comparison of versions to see what has changed and what has been added. So some of these things are what we can definitely do. And if I were to refresh this and look at what we have in drawings, I believe the drawing that we just created will all be visible here in the drawing section. Okay, so it takes a while to update, and I believe it has updated, and it should appear here in a while. So everything that we could do out there, and we are looking at version 4, but if I look at version 1, if I look at version 3 and I do a refresh, I see that the drawing out there for version 3, and I can also review it exactly like a 3D model, and I can use tools the way I do it for So the next question, how secure is the data? It is as secure as it can be for any banking or application, or for any secure communication applications that you are already using. If you are in an enterprise and you are already hooked on to things like Google One or OneDrive or Office 365, I can tell you this is as secure, and there are very different ways in which you can ensure that only the required people have access to the data and no one else. It's absolutely secure. We can help prove it. There is a trust document that I will take you to, and which you can review. You can just do a Google for Autodesk Trust, and you will come across a website which says the Autodesk Trust Center, which highlights all the means in which we are protecting your data. So how is your personal data managed and protected? Where can you find real-time cloud services? Why are compliance standards and certification important? So you can see the compliance status here. You can see whether all cloud services are running or not by visiting this dashboard, and you can see how incident responses are handled, what is the privacy compliance on this website. It's a very detailed document, and you can also get in the you can also see the people who are responsible for managing this, in fact. And if I go to security, it will give me the framework that we are following, what are the industry affiliations that we have, and what are some of the technologies that we use. How do we manage incidents? A lot of information out here. I'm not going to read it out here, but you can definitely go here and look at this entire web page. A very detailed information about how secure your data is, how we protect your data, and how we address any incident that happens, and any other issues with respect to the compliance of information. So we follow various standards. We definitely follow the GDPR laws. There are various other laws as well that are there in place that are being followed by us. And then these are these external audits and attestations and certifications that have been given to the Autodesk collaboration platform. So I hope this answers your questions. So can I share the slide model with my HOD with same interface at a time? I'm not very sure about the question, but yes, you can share, and you can share it as you are designing, if that is what you mean. It can be a live interaction as well, or it can be an interaction that you have shared and your HOD can look at it as at their leisure. One is running out of storage given, will Autodesk charge on it? So there are ways in which you can add additional storage, and yes, it is chargeable. Currently in Fusion Team, we have per user we have 500 GB, and I believe that might be good enough. If you are a team of 10, 500 GB into 10 is quite a lot, is what I believe. And yes, there are ways in which we can address the storage issue. Yes, can you share CAM assets? Absolutely. In fact, that is a part I did not cover here specifically. But if I go to manufacture, this platform entirely has a means to do all sorts of manufacturing, which includes turning, milling, additive, probing, fabrication, and various other things, all within the platform. So yes, you can add your CAM assets as also. So this is a very versatile platform. Other than just collaboration, you can, of course, you saw I did a little rendering and visualization. You can do your assembly, animation, assemblies, disassembly sequences using the animation workspace. There is the nesting for sheet metal nesting. Then there is also the access to advanced simulation and generative design. So request you to reach out back to us. I'm going to send you my email ID for you to have a discussion with me, so that I can answer some of your questions around the topic that you have asked. So yes, I'm not going to do the nesting here. I'm not right now interested in nesting, but what nesting does is, irrespective of the file format, it identifies sheet metal files and automatically creates a blank. Now these files came from SolidWorks and there were a couple of sheet metal files. So the software automatically identified them, create a unfolded blank for each one of them, and laid them out for us to start doing nesting. We can also do advanced simulation. There are various types of simulation that can be addressed, and even in the simulation part, you can either do it on your desktop, or you can do it in the on the cloud. Great. So I believe you guys enjoyed this session, and at this point I would quickly want you to answer a few poll questions before we end so that we know that you found this valuable. So really appreciate if you can quickly take your time out to answer the questions for today. There's just one last question that is going to come up after this. So we can build iParts and iAssemblies in Fusion, but the method is slightly different. And iParts, iAssemblies, and iFeature are a specific way of doing things in Inventor. But in Fusion, we have a different way of design automation. I can share some more details with you separately. Great. And the last question for you. Well, request you to answer this, please, so that we know your interest and no one would be bothering you if you don't want to. But yes, we would definitely like to hear from you. Please do reach out to us, even if you don't want to be contacted directly. If you found this interesting, if you see some merit and some value in it, please do reach out to the email ID, which will be shared with you subsequently as a part of the response of this webinar. So I believe that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you all for being so participative and being patient throughout the session. And hope to be doing similar sessions henceforth. Thank you so much, and have a great day ahead. Goodbye.